What's going on, Rich Budget Team? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, the series. Of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. Before we do get into everything going on today, I do just want to say I've been reading a lot of comments recently from people saying, you said Jack Clark was coming here, you said this player was going. Listen, I don't know everything, you don't know everything. We just so happen to support a club that likes to keep their cards very, very much close to their chest. So we are here to read the information as we see it and share that with you guys. Maybe give a couple of opinions on whether we want a player, whether we don't, and then just go through it as it is. I have also put video chapters for every single player we are going to be discussing, so if there is a certain player or a certain move that you're more interested than others, then feel free to click that chapter at the bottom of the screen and then pick on the section of the video of the player you would like to find more information about. For now, guys, though, let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into the first story, which is of course around Ilan Kebbal, who Leeds United have a key interest in. The playmaker, of course, playing for Paris FC, is being reported by Matondo that Leeds are one of two championship clubs very, very interested in the player. The Algerian international, registering 8 goals and 11 assists in 41 appearances for Paris FC last season. Currently valued by Transfermarkt at around £3 million. Could be a potential replacement for Rutter. Obviously, nowhere near the quality of Jorginho Rutter, but could be an interesting proposition there. It is also being reported around that the other side interested are Burnley, and we spoke a lot yesterday about how Burnley have been mugging us off in this transfer market. Are they going to mug us off again and take another one of the players that we want? I don't know. It could be an interesting proposition. Currently, this is the preliminary stages of interest. There isn't too much to go off, but Leeds United are very interested in potentially acquiring the attacking midfielder. Now, let's have a little look at where he would be able to feature for Leeds United. This is his Transfermarkt player profile here. Ilan Kebbal, rated at €3 million, as we stated before. He can play anywhere along the front line, really, featuring predominantly as a central attacking midfielder. He's also played 21 games as a right winger in his career, 15 as a left midfielder, so he can feature. It does seem like predominantly he is a fan coming off the right hand side of the pitch or centrally, although he can feature on the left hand side as well, which would help fill in for Leeds United, kind of like Brendan Aronson, either on the right hand side if need be, if we are going to persist with Perot in the 10, or ideally in that central attacking midfield role. From the central role, he has registered 6 goals and 12 assists. He is actually a little bit more prolific on the right-hand side of the pitch, featuring 14 goal contributions in under half the amount of games. That does seem to be his most prolific position, but of course, these could be coming in various competitions that are not quite at the level of the Championship, given the fact that he's played in Ligue 2, a little bit in Ligue 1, but didn't really kick on too much past that and has been relegated down to the second league of French competition. Not the best sign for Leeds United, because I do believe that the Championship is probably more comparable to Ligue 1 than it is to any other league, really, in terms of international scenes, and that goes for Spain, Italy as well. I think the Championship is much higher cut above than their second divisions, so not the best. Generally, we should be looking for elite players playing in the top divisions, and one of which could be another Rangers player. Obviously, we've been linked with Ryan Kent left, right and centre, and of course we did sign Glenn Kamara from Rangers last year, and he did do very, very well for Leeds United. Now, one of them that we could be signing and could be making headways over to Leeds United is Rabbi Matondo, as Rangers appear to have identified a left wing replacement. The Whites have been linked with the Wales international over the past few weeks and are still weighing up a move. This is being reported by Football Scotland. Any deal for Matondo would cost Leeds in the region of £2 million, the report suggests, which is more affordable as far as Leeds are concerned after selling a number of key men. Matondo can deliberate all they want, but they need to make a move for the winger now, and if Matondo has been identified as the man they want to bring in, they've been given a big boost in their pursuit. This is because, according to Viola News, overnight, this was basically yesterday night, the 20th of August, Rangers are looking to strike a deal for Firoentina left winger Josep Brecalo. So with this development, it's not that Leeds have necessarily made headways or come out and said we want Rabbi Matondo, but it is a player Leeds have been interested in for this transfer window, for the past few weeks, this transfer window, should I say, and now Rangers are making headways to make a replacement. Now, the fact that it's €2 million, I'm not 100% sure why we're looking in this region, considering Leeds have made more transfer money than anyone in the world in world football, currently at over £140 million, I believe it was. Second is Aston Villa. Obviously, we were tied with them, and then the Jorginho Rutter move pushed us way ahead. We have made more money from transfer fees or from selling players in transfer fees than any other club in world football, so we should be investing that adequately. Now, little look at Rabbi Matondo's profile. Of course, as it says there, valued at €3 million, another £2 million purchase. Has featured for 55 games of his career on the right-hand side of the pitch, 54 on the left wing, can play on either side, which is very, very helpful for Leeds United. Not only because, as we spoke about before, our wingers like to change flanks across a lot. We've seen it with Gnonto, with Dan James, where we change wings across. That seems to be a bit of a staple of Fark's system, so that could be very, very good for Rabbi Matondo to fit in there. But also, because of the fact that we don't know exactly where he would be featuring. Would he be featuring over Dan James? Would he be featuring over Wilfried Gnonto? It is yet undecided because we don't know whether Wilfried Gnonto will even be at the club. So it is something that does offer Leeds a bit of versatility. Whilst playing on the right-hand side, he's registered 12 goals and 8 assists. And on the left-hand side, 16 goals and 9 assists. In the 2024-25 campaign, he's played 4 games for Rangers, registering 58 minutes in their Scottish Premiership. 82 minutes, he's played a whole game in the League Cup, and whilst playing that whole game, registered himself an assist, and then also played in the Champions League qualifiers off the bench for 5 minutes. So, struggling for consistent first-team game time, being treated as a second-string player playing in the Cups, because they do see him as going, but could be a good acquisition and not someone that I'm exactly turning my nose up at this current moment in time. Now, one player that might have their nose turned up by fans would be Manchester United's Hannibal Mejbri, however you pronounce it, but Man United's Hannibal. And it is said, despite Leeds' interest, Championship rivals who? Guess who? Burnley are currently in pole position for the young midfielder who does not appear to be a part of Erik ten Hag's plan. Interestingly, per Transfermarkt, he actually shares the same representatives as recently departed star Jorginho Rutter. This is where the Leeds United links are coming in, because he does share the same agent as Jorginho Rutter. Given Leeds has blamed Rutter for being persistent and adamant in his determination to leave for Brighton, that would certainly make negotiations interesting if they do indeed try to jump ahead of Burnley. Why are Burnley sticking their nose in for every deal that Leeds United make? Now, he is an aggressive box-to-box midfielder. Could be someone that could feature either in arguably the Brendan Aronson role, or probably most likely a partner for Ampadu in the holding midfield positions for Leeds. He is also a big or a man who has attracted big admiration from this man here, who Leeds fans will all be very aware of. Someone you guys used to mug me off and call my uncle, my cousin, whatever it may be, Victor Orta. Now, a little look into Hannibal's stats. As you can see, he can play either in attacking midfield or as a box-to-box midfielder. I believe he would most likely play in the Iliga Gruev role next to a more defensive-minded Ethan Ampadu, allowing allowing him a little bit more license to push forward, but still not being relied upon as that creative number 10 role, which I don't believe he is. He's registered 15 assists in the attacking midfield role along with 7 goals, and whilst playing in holding midfield or box-to-box midfield, he has registered 2 goals and 10 assists. Obviously playing for Seville with Victor Orta last year. Also, obviously, registering appearances in the FA Cup for Man United, where he played for 1 minute. He played 5 Premier League appearances for Man U last season, registering a goal, which I'm sure a lot of us are all very well aware of, because when he did register that goal, Man United fans wouldn't stop yabbering on about how Hannibal was the next big thing. Obviously, hasn't quite kicked on for them in that way. And would it be a little bit of a victory for Leeds to take him away from Man United and then him potentially kick on and have a great career? Who knows? Maybe we could get one over them in that sense. So that could be a positive way of looking at it. Now, speaking of Leeds getting mugged off in the transfer market, Wilfried Gnonto, it has been stated recently that he was set to stay and that he has been exemplary in the way that he's acted. However, it looks like he could look to rub salt in the wounds of those stories, and he might still be going, because Team Talk are reporting that Gnonto is adamant that he wants to get his move, and his agent is trying to find him an exit before the August 30th deadline, and it might not be sure that Leeds are done selling their star players. Now, his performances this season I haven't been too impressed with. People trying to tell me him going on the left-hand side is a Somerville replacement, I find absolutely bewildering, because it is nowhere near a Somerville replacement, and I don't feel like Leeds can afford to let him go. If Leeds do let him go, I will be shocked, because, listen, we've already accrued more money from transfer fees than any other club, and the only way I see this happening is if he is an absolute poison in the locker room, and it needs to happen. But Leeds do not have the time nor the players available to replace him adequately, so I feel like even if he is unhappy, we are just going to have to keep him around and hope that we can bolster enough around him to sneak ourselves into a little promotion battle. Finally, the last story of the day is around Toure. Of course, we've spoken quite a bit about him over the past few days. A left-back acquisition which could play as backup for Senior Firpo, with his reported suspensions around the corner, which we all know about. It is being reported that he is still keen on the idea of moving to Leeds and doesn't mind playing in the second tier of English football. There are no guarantees he would start over Firpo, but Milan are desperate to get rid of him. The Senegal star enjoyed a woeful loan campaign at Fulham last season, playing just 8 games. He has already rejected a move to Besiktas and has also turned down a move to St Etienne. The report states that Tom Cleverley's Watford are unwilling to meet Toure's 20k a week wage demands, a figure that Leeds might be much more able to afford in the last 9 days of the window. Does this scream like an amazing backup for Firpo? Not necessarily. And £20,000 a week for someone that is probably not going to get regular game time for Leeds United seems like a little bit too much to stomach, in my opinion. But here are a few more updates on the man's loan spell at Fulham, where of course he played 6 games and didn't register any goals or assists, but he is a fullback. But the fact those 6 appearances only accrued him 65 minutes is very telling of his time over there. He has played 10 games in Serie A, registering 518 minutes, which is good. Also playing 4 games in the Champions League, 132 minutes isn't much to be snubbed at. But if you look at that yellow card rating there, you can see in those minutes in the Champions League, he was a bit of a hothead whilst playing against higher opposition players, and we don't need 2 yellow card merchants at left back, but this is how his positional thing would stack up, and he's played over 90% of his games pretty much at left back, so that's where he would be playing for Leeds United. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about all of those stories down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Please let me know your thoughts. Do you have any positive optimism to put my way? I really need to hear it right about now. For now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my